Oftentimes, it's really easy to criticize games, and in most cases, that's just because they give you plenty of reasons to, from poorly written story and bad graphics to a lot of bugs. It's very rare to come across a game that is almost perfect and that has almost no flaws. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 is one of those very rare, almost perfect games, and here's why. You have to know that I have never played Dungeons and Dragons and I have never even played previous Baldur's Gate games, and I'll tell you right now that if you didn't either, you definitely don't need to try them out before playing Baldur's Gate 3. Of course, if you do, you'll probably understand the game's lore better, but I didn't do that, and during my time in Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't feel for even a second like I was missing something important. But what is Baldur's Gate 3 about? Well, it's basically about a group of adventurers who are brought together by mind flayers. Basically aliens with tentacles who want to take over everything by infecting people with parasitic tadpoles that change them into mind flayers themselves. These adventurers were kidnapped from Baldur's Gate and infected with mind flayer tadpoles and now joined forces to try and deal with that problem. Somehow. But let's get one thing clear, they are not friends. Instead, they are explosive mixture of personalities and backgrounds that with time we get to know more and more, and that only with time, depending on player choices, can form friendships. Of course, some of those adventurers can be characters created by you and your friends, but most people definitely play or will play Baldur's Gate 3 solo. In that case, their companions in the game are characters created by game developers. Some of them are so-called origin characters that you can adopt as your own character. Well, I'm pretty sure you probably heard names like Astarion, Lae'zel, Shadowheart, or Gale. Some companions are also characters known from previous Baldur's Gate games, like Jaheira.
Settle in. Then come join me for a drink.
What's important, Baldur's Gate 3 gives you a choice. You can play as origin character or a custom character created by yourself. And since we are on that subject, let's talk about character creator. Character creator in this game isn't as extensive as character creators in some JRPG MMOs, but it gives you plenty of options. You can easily spend an hour in it creating your first character. Or at least that's what I did. That's because you have to choose from a lot of hairstyles, hair colors, skin colors, tattoos, faces, races, and many more. You also have to choose your character's background and of course, class. What's more, you can totally personalize their abilities and skill proficiencies. Oh, and despite the fact that this character creator is so extensive, it's very easy to use and very intuitive. What is there to do in Baldur's Gate 3? Like in any CRPG, there's a lot of exploring, fighting, looting, and completing quests. There's also a lot of dialogues to participate in, to help some NPCs, get to know some NPCs and companions better, to talk yourself out of trouble, and more. What we thankfully don't have in Baldur's Gate 3? Well, microtransactions, skins, or loot boxes. And that's just so refreshing.
What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do.
World of the game is bigger than you could expect. Recently I started my second playthrough and already came across at least 3 places that I somehow missed before. Fights are interesting and really require you to think and plan ahead. Even on the balanced difficulty, some of them are really hard, and that's a good thing because it makes them memorable. Some are especially memorable, and that is because fights really important to the story have unique music that you can't come across at any other point. On the other hand, you can really cheese through some encounters by using clever tricks like poisoning a band of goblins' food or gathering them in one place with music to nuke them out of existence with just one explosive barrel. I really love the fact that there are multiple ways to tackle almost everything in Baldur's Gate 3, including quests and story. Each conversation has many dialogue options. Even the puzzles don't always have only one solution. This game really lets you do a lot and rewards creativity. When it comes to the story, it lets you be good, it lets you be evil, it lets you be selfish or just greedy, whatever you want. What's the best? Your decisions made in regards to the story and side quests not only impact the ending of the game, but also shape each next act. Also, you can even have 4 characters of the same class in your party if you want to, and you can respec yourself and your companions as many times as you wish. Besides all that, you need to know that a lot of gameplay in Baldur's Gate 3 revolves around dice rolls. Dice rolls decide if you'll manage to break into a chest, hit a target or miss it, pass a hiding check, or deceive someone during conversation. That being said, the game gives you plenty opportunities to increase your chances to roll higher numbers or roll multiple times. Of course, there's also nothing stopping you from safe scamming to get as many rolls as you want. Let's focus a little bit on Baldur's Gate 3 story. This game is written so well. The last game that came even close to it in this regard is Witcher 3. I really appreciate the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 story isn't one-dimensional. There's plenty of heroic moments, there are plenty of really dark moments, and there are plenty of really silly moments. Each character and even each place has depth. The companions don't stand still, but develop with time while you complete their personal quests. You can even romance your companions and form with them unexpectedly mature relationships, or just have sex with them, whatever floats your boat, providing that they don't reject you.
Not with you, just to be clear. I mean, can you imagine? Ugh, no.
By the way, I love Astarion. I would kill everyone in Baldur's Gate if he wanted me to.
Really? Of course.
I swear to God, this motherfucker Gale won't stop trying to get me into bed with him. Should have cut off his hand the first moment I saw it.
Whoa, easy does it. Really don't want to do that. Not a threat, just an observation.
Okay, back onto the subject. Baldur's Gate 3 graphics are simply beautiful. The world of the game is very detailed, colorful, and alive, or really dark and dead where you need it to be. As it happened, I had the opportunity to play Baldur's Gate 3 on 1080p, 1440p and 4K monitors, and even on 1080p monitor this game looked really good. What in this case impressed me the most is the look and behavior of all the game's NPCs and player character. They were designed with a lot of detail, but they seem real thanks to their realistic body movements and facial expressions. They are not stiff like NPCs from Bethesda games, but let's talk about Starfield later. Larian Studios used motion capture technology very extensively. All of 248 voice actors that worked on Baldur's Gate 3 did the motion capture, and you can really see that. Of course, in video games, music is just as important as graphics. Thankfully, music in Baldur's Gate 3 is delightful. It perfectly highlights different moments during the gameplay. I love it so much that when I'm not playing, I'm listening to it on Spotify. When it comes to sound design and voice acting, well, especially the voice acting deserves praise. It is obvious that voice actors acted their hearts out in this game, especially Neil Newbon, who voiced Astarion, and Amelia Tyler, who voiced the narrator.
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
But doesn't Baldur's Gate 3 have any flaws? As I see it, there aren't many of them. I can definitely say that the game's interface is a little bit archaic and lacks some quality of life features. For example, it doesn't allow you to quickly sell or send to camp all items of the same type like camp supplies or common weapons and armor. I also encountered some minor bugs, but Larian is working on fixing them and fixed a lot already in the first 2 patches. You can definitely tell that some content was cut from the game, like the upper city part of gameplay and story, or idea of buying powerful items from Raphael with soul coins. That being said, I prefer having this content cut rather than dealing with its unfinished forms. Hopefully, Larian will add some cat content back into the game with future updates. So far, I spent in Baldur's Gate 3 more than 100 hours and I keep coming back for more. It even pushed me to drop my WoW subscription and I didn't expect that that would happen. This game is so memorable, so well written and so satisfying that I just can't get tired of it. It reminded me of what games used to be back in the day, just pure gameplay and nothing else. Nowadays people just got used to what most modern games offer: skins, microtransactions, loot boxes, cosmetics shops, and limited time events. Baldur's Gate 3 breaks that pattern of mediocrity and greediness and gives me hope that at least some game developers will decide to see it as a new standard. I believe that Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't set unrealistic expectations at all, and that's because it's not unimaginable to grant the players the products that they deserve instead of treating them like cash cows. Of course, I realize that companies like EA and Blizzard will just continue to push unfinished games with microtransactions as long as people will play them. So you know what you have to do. You have to stop playing them if you want more games like Baldur's Gate 3 to come into existence. As always, thank you for watching. Bye bye.